Hey, everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday, and thanks for joining us today. I'd like to talk about an event that just occurred to me, I should say has occurred over the last 3-4 months, and talk a little bit about tough choices. When you're faced with a tough situation and it doesn't seem that you have a lot of really good options in front of you. So maybe it'd be easier, I kind of start with a story. So Melinda and I decided that we were going to finally embark upon a remodel on our kitchen, new cabinets and whatnot. We've been in our house, I think, for 21 years now, and we beautified the kitchen by painting old 1980s cabinets and whatnot. We decided it was time and planned ahead and decided to go with a remodel on the kitchen. So how we started out was we kind of did our research online. We looked at Google reviews, and we found a cabinet maker who was also a general contractor in the local area. We called this cabinet maker and had them come out and give us an estimate, or at least that was the intention. But they came out and in front of our eyes in our kitchen, they designed our new kitchen before, right in front of us. It was incredible. And then we scheduled a meeting with them at their cabinet shop, and we walked into this beautiful facility with a $250,000 CNC machine and just top notch. Everything was top notch, high quality. We were talking to the owner, his project manager, and we were uber impressed. We went ahead and signed a contract, gave him a down payment, and I believe that was in January of this year. And the remodel was scheduled to begin on June 19th, which was the Monday after our son finished high school. That way we could get things in order and move out. So the day of, on the 19th of June, the demo started, and we were surprised when 3 workers showed up. They were there for about 4.5, 5 hours, and then they left. And the next day, a couple people showed up. They were there for an hour or two, then they left. And it began to become a comedy of sorts really quickly. And we started to get frustrated and ask questions, and things just didn't seem right. So, as we started to push back a little bit, we were told that all of these oversights or schedule delays were built into their schedule and they would still finish on time. But again, lots of little warning signs and signals. I was watching the work that they were doing, and it appeared to me that, again, something was just off. So I started doing some research. I found that they had multiple citations for doing electrical work when they're not licensed as an electrical contractor. They don't have a licensed electrician. I did further investigation to find out they didn't have any building permits. And we called in another contractor to come look at it, and they were fantastic. If you watch the show, it's a show that's on one of the channels, Bravo or Do It Yourself Network, whatever it is. It's called Unsellable Houses. And it's 2 sisters who basically buy dilapidated houses and fix them up. Well, their contractor, JL Remodeling, who does all their work, is the company we called, and they did a fantastic job. They came in, they cleaned up the mess. They had engineering done because a 35-foot glue lamp beam was put in, and they bailed it out. Now, the project ended up costing a little more than we expected. We still had to work with that cabinet contractor because they were going to do the cabinets, which they did a decent job on. But it was just the nightmare project from hell, so to speak. And we learned a lot through that project. And the sad thing is that we have been through enough remodels over the years that we're fairly savvy. And despite that, we still got taken, so to speak, by this contractor. We were fooled. We found out that the owner of this company was a total micromanager, that none of his employees were allowed to do their jobs. He got involved in every little aspect of the work, and ultimately everything fell apart. I'm shocked that they're still in business. But, we learned a lot through this. And I think that pain, living out of your garage with a microwave and a utility sink for 4 months equals pain. And that pain equals a learning experience that we can take with us to become better. So ultimately, I think we learned a lot of lessons, and a lesson that I want to share. And I'll never forget, I think it was 2008. I was in Dallas, Texas, for the Wind Power Conference, and the keynote speaker was George W. Bush. He was being interviewed on stage, and it was a very different George W. than you saw on TV when he was president. He talked about how oftentimes his advisors would come to him and they would say, Mr. President, we have a situation here. Here's the situation, and here are two options that you have. And he would look at the two options and say, I don't like these two options. These are both bad options. And his advisors would say, well, we understand that, Mr. President, but you need to pick one of these. And it was so funny listening to him talking about how difficult it is to be the president of the United States and how tough the choices are you have to make. But sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. And sometimes the options that you have in front of you are not good. None of them are good. And I think we all face these situations in our lives. And all we can really do is gather as much information as we can, try to do an if-then type of a scenario exercise where if we take this course of action, then this is what will likely happen. And if we choose this option, then this is what we can expect, and really kind of weigh the consequences of everything in order to come up with the best decision, considering the circumstances and the options available to you. And oftentimes when we're kind of in the heat of that, you could call it a crisis or a tough situation, it makes it really difficult to approach things systematically with a clear head. But what I've learned over time is that you got to just kind of take it one step at a time. You got to take a breath. You got to take the emotion out of it as much as you can and try to make good decisions based on the facts that you have. So hopefully that lesson learned, hard lesson learned by me, is of some value, and hopefully, this What's Up Wednesday is helpful to you. So think about that, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day.